So hi everybody and welcome back to this C++ tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 239 and in this video we continue with our exercise. And we stopped here with the choose mode where we created a switch statement where we can choose the different options, and I want to implement the case 4 with the insert. The other options I will implement later. And here I started already with user information on the screen. Let me show you what this is. When I have here my input, then we can go here and you can see a little bit information, and that's not a very good thing, but okay. Then we can choose and so on, and you can see that's just user information. And we already talked also about this say in here, and I said the say in is very dangerous in many different ways. For example, security purpose or crashes or wrong inputs and all this kind of stuff. And I think you should learn this more in detail. I will show you this in a future tutorial, not in this exercise because it's already too much extended, but I want to show you here a website which I found. You can go, I will link this in the description here, and learn this step by step. He is really explaining it for people who want to learn C++. That's perfect. And he is covering every case here step by step. Invalid. It starts here with error case 1, then error case 2, and then he's explaining also what you have to do. And on the bottom here, he has all together what you learned, so you can see it, all the code, and you can see there is it's not so simple like one line what I did here in my code. This is a wrong implementation, and the right implementation is, after you read this code, you know what the right implementation is. But I want here emphasize another thing as well, and what I want to emphasize is careful when you read code like this online, that you make not the mistake to take this as how you should code, because he is providing a perfect solution here. I say perfect solution for how to handle a say in, for example. But the problem is, this one is of course not the programming, he's not following the programming principle, because that's not his intention. He's trying to explain you how to use say in. He's not trying to program correctly. What I mean with that is, when we learned already about this programming principles, and you can see here's no comment. You can see he's not using here this right variable names. And again, you say, wait a minute, why is he not using the programming principles to explain a code? It's very simple. This programming tutorials online and the C++ books, they are not in there is not also their intention is not to write programming code. Their intention is to explain the code, and for explaining the code you don't need to find here a perfect name, which will be anyway not used anywhere else. It is just here, this x should just here a double value, and you will not find here any other x. But in our case, when I compared this to our program, if I would use here x or something else, and you can see on the right side, let's say I have here many other CPP files, I will get name conflicts, I will not understand what this x is, and all this kind of stuff. So the question is, I'm emphasizing this here again. So don't make the mistake that only because all other people on the online or on C++ books, or even the online documentation of C++, the real documentation, this is CPP reference.com. This is just a copy of the original one. But this one here, let me show you this one here. This is just one draft of the original papers. And even you can see they are using short names. I don't know what this Y is when I see it instantly. I have to analyze this code. And again here, they are not teaching you programming. They are teaching you how to use this code here, what they are trying to teach you. For example, in this case, they are trying to explain classes. And you as a programmer, your job is, after you see something like that and take it to your code here, you have to use all the principles to make it a real program. What I mean with that, you add here your comments, you change here all the inputs, and then you use other principles as well to make it even more useful for programming purposes, right? So don't make the mistake. And again, why I'm emphasizing this again, because many starters see this online and compare, oh, the original paper is programming like that, oh, other C++ people books or online books are programming like that, so I will program like that too. And most of the people are using also this nice button here, which is most time provided, or just copy and paste it here. You can just copy the code here and use it in your own code. Careful again, this is just for demonstration purposes. You as a programmer are responsible to make it a real program. All right, that's very important, because you will hear a lot of people arguing, hey, but they are using it like this too. Yes, they are using it, but all these people here who are using that also mentioned anywhere for demonstration purposes. We use here no full names. For demonstration purposes, we are not using here a comment. For demonstration purposes, we are ignoring, for example, the whole, you will see later, for demonstration purposes, this person here will say perhaps, we will just take say in like me here, and we assume you are giving all time the right input instead of controlling all the error cases, because in programming you will see there are many cases when you are programming right, most codes will expand extensionally because of error cases. And in this demonstration pages here, they are skipping this parts. They want not demonstrate because this is not essential at this point, right? And even I'm skipping this a lot of too, and that's not good programming, and that's why I'm emphasizing too. There are many things where you have normally make a check, try catch block, check variable, check. There is many things to check normally, and I skip this also, and this is bad. And I try to emphasize this again. You as a programmer, your job is to know this. But I think, and I hope by now you are knowing that. And yeah, with that said, I think I will link this now here in the description so that you can follow this one here and learn it. And by the way, one more thing which I forgot to tell you, this one is just one solution. There are different kind of solution how to handle say in. For example, there is also something like I think he mentioned this one here anywhere too. There are inline variations, which means you check just the input directly before it is evaluated in say in and something like that. Or there are they are here inline variations, then post entry variations, and this kind of stuff have different approaches, and you will find there are many different approaches. Here's one more, for example, also from this person here, for example, stream state input validation. And the problem here is this one perhaps you can skip, because this one is more startup friendly, this one is more advanced, and the reason for that is we have not discovered all the things what he is discovering here. You can see we have not discovered lambda functions or templates. I think templates are used here also. Down here, yes, we have here templates. We have not talked about maps and templates and something like that. So if you want, you can skip this one here, because this one is talking about input directly validations and so on. But this one you should try to understand. I think most of them it's easy. Let's go here to the code. Let me see this one fast again, to not that you are seeing something and saying I don't understand this. I think we have covered almost all. The only thing which we have not covered is this first line here, and this one is just a template. And this line here, actually there's one line here what you can see. It's a replacement of that what I have. Instead of writing here a big number, if you remember from my last video, I said you can write here a big number which will be ignored. Instead of this one, they are using a special library here, which is just calculating the max input. So the user can input anything. This will be calculated with this one here, and then you don't have to give it any number, because this number here, what I wrote, can still, let's say, theoretically exceed it, right? I can give here, for example, just for 1 over this 100,000 characters, and then I have still a problem. But on the other side, if you are using this one here, doesn't matter how many characters you give, it will catch it. That's the better solution. And like I said, yeah, you have to read this. And the reason why I made this here is I think it's important because, like I said, this input will cause big problems. It's one of the fields where cause a lot of problems, and it is not covered a lot in starter tutorials. Here you can read this one, but I will go in future tutorials through this code step by step too. But we use this input a lot, and that's why I think you should study this well and see that a person like me who is using this kind of stuff, he is using it totally wrong. And again, I repeat myself, I use it wrong because it is not right now necessarily, we have not talked about it, this is the first case, and right now I want to try to solve this exercise here. And again, this is not the right coding. If you want right coding, you will see after you studied this, not this page here, that you need a lot of catches by catch blocks here, or not try catch blocks, so it's more just check blocks here with the conditions. And keep this in mind. Most time these demonstrations, even I have just simplified code here. In your real world example code, you will see you have much more error checks for certain inputs, for certain conditions and so on, because most time I skip this part here as well. That would blow up the code a lot. For learning, not very important, but in real production, when you start to make a real program, all these error checks will be very, very important. Depends on your program, what you want to achieve. For example, if you want to make a very secure program, you have to make every error check as possible as you can, and so on. But yeah, I think I talked too much, and I think you get the idea. Keep this all in mind. Try to learn this. And then we continue, and like I said, I will still use, perhaps I replace this one here, and again, perhaps I just copy and paste something like this one and then change the code here. Keep this in mind. Don't use just copy and paste it. This code is perfect, but it's not from the programming perspective perfect. It is for demonstration purpose perfect. For programming purposes, you have to convert or use all the principles and change all what's wrong. And I hope you learned some principles and make this code better after you use it in your code. All right, with that said, if you have any questions, like all time, write in the comment section. See you in the next video, and like all time, don't give up, have fun, bye.